In our previous videos, we talked about Nipigon, where Highway 11 joins Highway 17. We had two good reasons to visit Nipigon. No, not a passing train, but it was a bonus. By the way, the lead locomotive was Canadian Pacific 8745. Okay, first, I had to get paper copies for my triathlon assignment in a week, and the public library is on the other side of the tracks. Second, we had to refill one of the propane tanks. These tasks can take a lot of time when we have to wait for the train to pass. Welcome to our escapades. Ursula is the navigator, my name is Dieter, and I am the wheelman. It is a 70-kilometer drive from our base camp in Rainbow Falls Provincial Park. When we looked at the map, Highway 585 is west of Nipigon and looked promising for some light adventures. There is a waterfall and a hydro dam, so we had our day all planned. While we were waiting for the train to pass, we noticed the Canadian Tire container. This department store is usually the source for all things outdoors in Northern Ontario. As we found out, they do not refill propane tanks up here anymore. We were sent to Husky and other places, all without luck. After 3 days of searching everywhere between Terrace Bay and Nipigon, we had to give up. They all participate in the Propane Tank exchange program. Oh, look at that! We made it to the helper locomotive, the Canadian Pacific 8057. Talking about the exchange tank program. You bring your empty exchange program cylinder and you get a full tank back. But they only carry 20-pound tanks. We had a 5-pound tank and there was no way to get it refilled. The cost per exchange program tank is about double of getting your own refilled at the gas station. The moral of the story? When you travel north, make sure your propane tank is full. Now fast forward to the end of the train and the pusher locomotive Kansas City Southern 4894. We could finally cross the tracks and get our files printed at the public library. By the time we were done, it was lunchtime and there is a Husky House restaurant in Nipigon. We wouldn't want to miss it. They serve amazing meals, big portions for a reasonable price. We had the O Canada burger and a Big Rig salad. We were nourished and eager to explore Highway 585. The power lines along the road leave no doubt. There must be a hydropower station somewhere ahead of us. This is the Alexander generating station and Alexander Falls. We could see the generating station, but the waterfall was not happening. Only on closer observation did we notice a trickle. We kept on going until the end of 585. The Pine Portage generating station has more than double the capacity of Alexander generating station. The big dam left us with one choice: turn around. We could hear the water gushing, but the whole area was fenced in. We took a side road that was not on the Garmin GPS, but the train track was there. The problem we were facing here is that the jeep was actually on a road that does not exist, and we were allegedly standing on a train track. At that time, we didn't know about the abandoned train trestle, and so we continued on the service road. However, we did return 2 days later, but we get to that in a minute. Along the way, we noticed the Split Rock Rapids lookout and trail. There is very little information about the trail. We had no problems following the trail, even though there were some overgrown sections and fallen trees. The bugs were after me. They likely don't get lots of food. I mean visitors here. We came to the top of the cliff and saw the river down in a distance. The rope was there for a reason. The descent was steep. The topo map contour lines show a 75-meter drop. We decided to call it a day. The trail will be there next time when we are better prepared. On our way back to the campsite, we stopped at the rest station along Highway 17. It is located on top of a rock, and we were hoping to get a look at the coastline. The weather was not in our favor, but we caught the train. And watching train never gets boring. Back at the camp, Ursula got more information about the train track we saw on Garmin. She found information about an abandoned trestle over Cash Creek. 2 days later, we returned to Nipigon and drove north on Highway 11 to get to the bridge. A forest access road branches off after Helen Lake. Garmin shows a similar map like last time. We were unmistakably at the right place. We pulled onto the track bed. Ox-eye daisies are taking over the track and meadows. This flower was introduced from Europe in the early 1800s and is now everywhere. The jeep had less space between the trees by the minute. I was reading that the last train rolled here about 20 years ago. The first trees were hanging over the trail. That was the cue to install the limb lifter. Limb lifter is a fancy name for the cable that runs from the front of the hood to the roof. However, the limb lifter has its limits. I checked first to see if the tree is reasonably safe to pass underneath. Oh no, it started raining. Oddly enough, that concerned us more than the scratches. I walked to get a better look at the track bed. You never know what you can find. Maybe some railway spikes. Amazing sight from up here. Trees as far as we can see, but no bridge yet. There is a clear cut at the right side that was logged not long ago. Sometimes the bird eye view can point you to an easier terrain or a lake. Meanwhile, down here on Earth, I had to clear the path. This was not the first time, and the axe was the right tool. We arrived at the Cash Creek Trestle. What an amazing sight. We didn't know the condition the bridge was in, but this is as good as it gets, considering that the rail track is abandoned. The rain intensified and Ursula got out and took the first pictures. I got the drone ready. I'm still a novice when it comes to flying that thing, but with objects like this bridge, being able to fly alongside does give it a new perspective. I don't have any details about the bridge, nor do I know anything about bridge construction. So sit back and enjoy for a minute. On the way back, we pulled up to the logging road. This route was easier on the paint of the Jeep. We accomplished our mission. The Cash Creek Trestle lived up to our expectations and we got a few good pictures. This was a very successful day. Thank you for watching and we'll see you out there.